whatever's needing to be said about me, I even when I left a comment on Leah Jade, I don't know if that's her, I'm sorry, I keep butchering her name. But
Jude.
even when I said that, I tried to come in there and be like, look, everybody got bills to pay. Everybody got bills to pay. Somebody told me that everybody got bills to pay.
Yeah.
And if that's how you got to get your shit off and it's giving you traction after doing type B shit, get it off.
You saw
Because
that too.
I for sure did reaction videos about people that I was like, did I really have to do this? But I
Yeah.
did it. And I benefited off of it. That's the nature of being in this space and reacting to shit.
So if you're online at all, you know that there was a pretty good conversation that took place between Dame Taylor, Curtis King, and Busyworks Beats. More Dame Taylor and Curtis King. Busyworks Beats he's Busyworks Beats. The whole thing was very productive. It went in a very good direction. It was I feel like a progressive step for sure when it comes to some of the vitriol that gets thrown specifically towards Curtis King. I do want to comment on one part of it, and it's when my name showed up. And that's all that I'm going to be focused on here, because I feel like I should have a say in kind of the way that people interpret what I'm doing and who I am. I thought it was really funny that he said Leah Jade. Whenever I Google my own name, it will always change my Jude Jade. And it's always like frustrated me. It does it less and less now, but because Google just starts to realize who you are. But it's just really, really funny that he was like Leah Jade. I know that Curtis King didn't like anything that I said. And one of the things that he said was that I was up here talking shit.
Good. There's a female voice in a producer community that's not the norm who's talking shit. Interesting. To me, that represents somebody else will look at that and say, I wouldn't do it like her, but now that she exists, I'm going to do something.
I've been here the whole time. So whereas Dame Taylor came in from the outside and kind of saw this whole online community and said, wow, that's a trash community, I was kind of this raccoon trying to pick, the better pieces of garbage out of all of the trash cans the whole time. Busyworks Beats, I never knew who that was until very, very recently. But Curtis King, I was watching like that mental health content back in like 2016, 2018, way back then. So when Curtis King kind of switched and got super annoyed with the producers and all of a sudden, like, everybody was crap, like, you can't really do what Curtis King was doing and then turn on the same people. He also says everybody needs a paycheck. Nobody knows that more than I do. I mean, you need money. You need money to survive. I get that. But Curtis King himself has said that he took sponsorships and did things that he didn't necessarily even back to make money. And that's where the problem kind of arises. So as, somebody who's had a lot of YouTube channels throughout the years, like I've been on YouTube for a long time, different channels, varying success, this music channel was the hardest one to grow. And you've seen that I've pivoted 1,000 different times. I've tried different things, even as soon as recently I've been trying different things with this channel. I think that it's natural when you're trying to make something work to pivot and to try different things. But when you are trying to get any kind of advice online, all the advice is terrible. And Curtis even brought that up in this interview. He said, maybe I set people's sights a little bit too high. Maybe some of the things that I was saying weren't completely realistic. And maybe they just, whatever. I think that it was like a survivorship bias. And I think that that happens to a lot of different people. They'll get into the spot that they're in and they'll think, there's not anything too special about me and I got here. So like, why can't anybody just do that? But the truth is, there are differences in how we all deliver information, and there's differences in obviously the way that we all look. And one of the things that Curtis said was he was mad that when he would make videos, like he set up the camera, wash his face, do this stuff, and then people would comment on his facial hair. I wish that that was all the comments that I got. I don't think that people appreciate that, my comments are a lot worse when it comes to my appearance, my breast size, everything, my fat. I get comments that guys just don't get. And I go through things online that they're never really going to understand from my perspective in a male-dominated industry. And I feel like what Curtis said about here's this female, she's on camera, she's talking shit, that's interesting. And I do want there to be more voices out there that from the inside, and this is the only community I've ever known. I didn't come from any other space. I've been on the online community the entire time. And I've been tricked by producers that like I was watching. I've gotten wrong information from producers that I was watching. And finally, I just wised up enough to be like, I'm going to talk about this stuff. And another kind of issue that I had with something that Curtis had said towards Dame was he's like, well, you know, Dame said these voices need to be controlled. And Curtis is like, that's where you step in.
Nah, I mean, that got to be controlled too, though.
But that's where you come in, bro.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I feel like that's one of the things that is so beneficial of you speaking the way you do, because now it's like you told her, like, because I when I look at this shit, I'm like, I be asking every day, who are all these niggas? Who do you come from? Who are you?
Dame cannot be the only person that has an opinion on the music industry online. He just can't. The iPhone was not built by one person. You cannot get a good product or any progress with one voice. There needs to be different voices that are coming from different perspectives. And just because I look like I'm about to, you know, set up a table and do your taxes or like line up a kindergarten class, it doesn't mean that I don't have a right to speak up in this community about the things that I've personally seen and the people that I personally have a problem with. And yes, I do put my face out there. I'm not just lurking around in the comments, leaving shitty things to different crowds. I'm out here. Like, my face is here. I'm talking. I've gotten myself like a small audience doing this, and that's awesome. But I didn't get this small audience because I'm sitting here talking shit. I got this small audience because I'm talking about stuff that a lot of other people agree with. As far as Dame, I think that he is a very sound mind. And as somebody from like kind of this third-party perspective that walked into something that was clearly a mess, he definitely has a good space to be able to call things out, especially since he's not that emotionally attached to this online community. Whereas, like I said, this is all I've ever known. And of course, being a woman has made it a lot harder for me to grow my channel in general. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that if I didn't have a vagina, my channel would be a lot bigger because it's been around for a long time. The content wasn't always the best. I used to be a lot more stiff on camera, and I used to have a lot more trouble delivering information, but I've seen plenty of male producers that are extremely stiff on camera, very awkward, delivering worse information, like information that doesn't even make sense, who have enormous followings. So I know that I've been held back in a lot of different ways. And just being a woman in general, you know, I'm spoken over all the time. I'm trampled all the time. You know, when you're in male-dominated fields, stuff like that is going to happen. But it toughens you up. And am I ever going to know what it's like to have a community of 500,000 people like Curtis King did online? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? But it doesn't really matter what size my community is, because when it comes to punching up, everybody has the right to put their opinion online. It's basically like a community square. Toxic or not, that's what it is. And I do want more people to get on camera and to state their opinions, because it stops people who are scamming in this community from being able to get away with it. Being a part of this as long as I haven't known a lot of these creators for like a year. A lot of these creators have been around for and I've seen their content for like 10 plus years. I'm speaking from a totally different perspective. And I think that every voice is important in the community. Other than my own personal thoughts on that part, Dame did an excellent job of kind of mediating the whole thing. He definitely didn't hold back any punches and was trying to give both of them an equal voice, but BusyWorks Beats wasn't really, it's like really hard to get through to him. It was a really good, productive thing that made me see other parts of Curtis King that he never presented on his own channel. You know, some vulnerabilities and some things that, just little things that you can pick up about people's personalities when you see them talking in a candid way like that. I love things like that because it really does humanize the person a little bit more, because they don't have a mask on. They're not selling a product. They're sitting there and just sitting there talking through a problem. And I think that that's important. But I don't want this whole idea of people being so much bigger than other people to stop the smaller voices. Everybody needs a voice, especially women in this community that don't have one. And the women that are out in this community, they're not doing stuff like I am. Going forward, like I said, my channel, I'm kind of pivoting some of the things that I'm talking about. I'm trying to do like video essay style stuff because I love to research different things, and different people interest me. And so I'm kind of trying to do some different things, but that doesn't mean that like I was like, I'm backing down and like running away from the internet. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just that a channel can't be sustained by just critiquing. All of the people that I had the biggest problems with, I've critiqued them. I mean, they're done. I'm not going to continue to kind of like follow all of this drama. But I do think that video essays, like educational type videos, reaction content, little things like that, are things that I'm going to continue to explore. Sometimes my videos hit, sometimes they miss. But these drama videos, nobody's lying. They get more views. They just do. And even though I'll get the comments like, please make positive content, the positive content doesn't get clicks. I've said my piece and everything that I had to say as somebody who's been in this community for a very, very long time. It's the only one I ever knew. Getting my voice out there and saying my piece felt good. It felt cathartic for me because a lot of people weren't saying anything about these big guys because they were afraid to. And, you know, I'm glad I did it. But in the future, I do want to take this a more positive way.